This week, we continue our tour of Bleecker and Broad Streets in Utica. At the turn of the last century, these historic streets were two of the city's busiest shopping and manufacturing thoroughfares. Visible from much of Bleecker Street are the twin steeples of historic Old St. John's Church. The church celebrates its 190th birthday this year and is the fourth oldest Catholic church in New York State.
There's a coal man and his sons, the kings and the silvers, in the rivers they run.
2 blocks east of Old St. John's is historic Chancellor Park, located between Bleecker and Elizabeth Streets. The park was set aside from the Bleecker family estate in 1810. Chancellor and RUBEN Park are the oldest parks in Utica.
So good to see all of you.
Chancellor Park is home to Utica's Farmers Market and is held every Wednesday from 8 to 5 p.m. through the end of October. Be sure to stop by and enjoy the fruits of this year's harvest, including all kinds of fresh peppers from Farmer Lee.
Across the sky, all the colors just blow your mind, and Gothy flies by in his 185.
We head over to Broad Street, once the manufacturing avenue of Utica. Still today, local manufacturers find this part of Utica the perfect place to do business. Gothy Air Fabricating was established by the brothers Louis and Sylvester Gothy Air in the 1970s. Today, the company is run by Louis and his son Christopher. This job shop is capable of shearing, bending, rolling, and cutting steel. Their work is found all over the world, but locally you might be familiar with their creation of the world's largest watering can at the zoo, or FX Matt's giant brew kettle.
Since '71, it was my uncle and my father started it. They started out as a HVAC, sheet metal, new construction, and then we evolved into the heavier plate work we're doing now. We just did a big sculpture that went to Belfast, Ireland last summer. Bulldozer blades, channel, anything anybody needs, any kind of metal. If it's out of metal. Yeah, no, we can do furnace plenums to bulldozer blades, we always say, and everything in between. We got the plasma tables, computerized plasma tables. We got 800-ton press brakes for bending metal. We could bend 1-inch thick metal, 12 foot long. We can roll it, make it into pipe, do just about anything. We roll angle, make angle rings, just about anything you can do. We do a lot for the brewery. Revere, Remington Arms, a lot of customers up north, Riverside Iron, Rome Iron when they were around. Pretty much everybody we do little bits of work for. Mid-State Steel, Nathan Steel, pretty much everybody. Well, we've got 5 guys on the floor, 2 guys in the office, then we got 2 part-time guys that come in, and we're about 33,000 square feet. It was a great place back in the 70s. You had a lot of industry on Broad Street alone. You had the GEs, you had Utica Radiator, you had Chicago Pneumatics. It was just a good place there was a lot of industry here. It's interesting, it's challenging all the time. Plus, me and my kids have grown a fondness for eating, so we have to work to eat. So.
We're all the sons of immigrants, the sons of the native land. There are sons yet to be born to carry on the work we've just begun. Well, good times may come and good times go, but one thing stays the same. It's the feeling I get when I look around. It lets me know I'm home. I'm making this valley my home. I'm so proud to call it my home. Oh, it's not what you take or give.
Another business that set up shop on Broad Street in the 1970s is Wood Window Workshop. This custom shop specializes in traditional style windows and doors, as well as historical reproductions. The business has taken advantage of the ample space these old mills provide.
Well, the official name of our business is Kershaw Zaleski Associates. We started in 1978, my partner Jamie Zaleski and I, and it evolved. We started out as a residential building and remodeling contractor, which we still do today, but Wood Window Workshop became a division of our company in the mid-'80s, where we specialize in custom wood windows and doors. Well, we make a lot of historic reproductions. We do windows that are typical of mid to late 19th century, but we've also done projects that are as far back as the 17th century. We'll use either domestic woods, southern yellow pine, white pine, or white oak, and we reproduce the window to match exactly the originals. As we move forward to the 19th century, we start to use more imported hardwoods like mahogany and Spanish cedar from South and Central America. And these woods are very durable hardwoods and produce a great window. Our typical customer are people typically in larger metropolitan areas that have landmark designated properties that need to put in a replacement window that matches the original. But we also do projects, small projects in rural areas where we're trying to duplicate windows from earlier time periods. You know, this was a great space, and 30 years ago we started with a small shop in the corner of this building, and it evolved into a much larger space, and we've since taken over the entire building. It's an industrial area, so it's zoned for what we want to do. Relatively quiet, very safe, and a great street to work on.
There's a new neighbor on Broad Street, taking advantage of the location and the space afforded by an old warehouse. RUBEN Maldonado, a producer and Brooklyn native, manages a business dedicated to art, film, and music.
We have everything pertaining to urban industry. We work with all independent artists, independent but striving artists, I should say. We have HQ Brew, which is a cafe, internet cafe. We have a recording studio, and at the recording studio, we produce your independent film, we produce graphic design, produce music, and we actually bring it outside. We have the gallery area, so the artists can actually showcase what they do. We'll show it show their video in the facility. We'll play it on the speakers. We'll actually sell it in the retail area, and they can actually perform it on stage. We needed this space to actually do what we do, and that's produce independent film, music. We have the space to shoot. We have the space to edit, and we have the isolation of just the industrial area, and we can make all the noise we want when we do produce and have our events.
There's plenty happening at Urban Headquarters, and Mohawk Valley Living fans are invited to check it out. Stop in this week and you'll be treated to a complimentary cup of fresh ground coffee at the HQ Brew Cafe, open Monday through Friday at 11 a.m. Tonight and every Sunday is Inspirational Night from 7:30 to 9:30 with non-denominational inspirational speakers and performers. Tuesday night is Open Mic Night, Wednesday nights are musicians' workshops, and this Friday is the art and music show Scribbage from 6 to 10 p.m. Urban Headquarters is located at 807 Broad Street in Utica. Back on Bleecker, a historic building has a new life. The Byington Mill was built in 1910 as a knitting mill. It has recently been renovated for offices and luxury apartments. The interior showcases the building's original beams, bricks, and wood floors, similar to the aesthetic qualities of the Herd building we observed on our tour of JetNet a few years ago.
It was the boom town around here when Gillette stepped off that train. Canals flowing, hops growing, new towns being raised. There were fortunes to be made. He was a well-dressed one-man show. A tail spinner, a heart winner with a lusty ego. It was a boom town around here. How I wished I was there. It was a rockin' boom town around here. With a girl named Grace working in a petticoat factory.
During the lunch hour, office workers spill out of work in search of food, and on Bleecker Street, the possibilities are endless. Sometimes they'll find Smokey Note Foods, not your typical street-side food vendor. The menu includes tomato bruschetta, pork loin on grilled Portuguese bread, or warm gourmet soups like today's smoky sweet pork, beans, and corn chowder. This mobile grilling experience will be set up at Utica's Fright Night this Friday and Saturday at Hannah Park. Be sure to stop by Smokey Note Foods for some scary good soups, sandwiches, sauces, and chili. We continue our culinary cruise along Bleecker Street. There's long-established places like Grimaldi's and the Florentine. And just try to pass by Big O Bakery in the morning. The aroma of fresh-baked bread and pastries will capture your senses and drag you in helpless. John Orseo married a baker's daughter. He learned the trade and has run his own bakery for nearly 40 years, now with the help of his son, John Jr.
I've seen life from out of your bars in front of dozens more. Through those times I never felt the struggle between love and war. Touched my heart in many ways I've never felt before. So honey, reconsider this as you walk out the door. 'Cause I'll do anything for you. Yes, I do anything for you.
Looking for some authentic Spanish food? It's here on Bleecker. We visited El Barajo almost 5 years ago when they were the new restaurant in town. Their Spanish rice and beans, stewed chicken, beef, oxtail, and pig ears still draw in the neighbors who can't get enough of this traditional homemade fare. A sign in the window of a new restaurant catches our attention, and the name Johnny Diamond Soul Food piques our curiosity. So we head inside to find out just what is soul food. And there in the kitchen, we find Johnny Diamond himself.
To see what we can see, traveling round the Mohawk Valley.
Soul food basically is food that was made home, usually around dinner time, that your grandmother probably taught to your mother or the oldest son if there was no girls in the house. For my mother, she taught me how to cook. I was the last child and basically the last one to come out the house, so that's where I learned how to cook from, tasting her cooking. Everything I cook, she taught me how to cook, from all the way from the cornbread, the macaroni and cheese, the collard greens, the ribs, the fried chicken, all the way down to the last little bit. Well, Johnny Diamond is all, me, my mom, and her father, who were the cooks in the family, and the diamond represents all the females in my household.
Johnny Diamond's Restaurant and Grill is open Monday through Friday for lunch and dinner at 893 Bleecker Street in Utica. Before we leave Bleecker Street, we stop in to see our friends at the Lotus Garden. Sam knows we're hooked on the sushi and the bee-bong, so he tries to turn us on to something new, a sweet calamari salad creation. Incredibly delicious. If you're in the mood for some authentic Southeast Asian cuisine, the Lotus Garden is open for lunch and dinner 7 days a week.
To see what we can see, traveling round the Mohawk Valley. Let's see